holding it down. We're here to occupy Bilderberg. We're here to occupy the real 1%, closer to the 0.01%. We got activists from all over. This is like our own little conference.
It's like Woodstock.
Yeah, it's like Truth Stock.
There you go, Trutherberg.
Yeah, Trutherberg stock. And we've had great guests on all night. We've got one now, and I do got to highlight that it's official. The globalist actor that we saw just came in studio, and he's going to be on next segment. You do not want to miss this.
Exclusive, next segment.
Yeah, I mean, he's
exclusive.
He may be pumping up one of his new movies. That's why he's doing this, but
he just learned how to pump off.
Yeah, we got a lot of inside jokes from, when you go 1,600 miles in a couple days, you develop some inside jokes, and we can't talk about those on air right now. But Cody's going to introduce our next guest. Monumental guest.
Absolutely. You have Eddie Free you'll know him from the Thomas Jefferson dance protest.
Yes.
Where those guys got body slammed, arrested for dancing in front of the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. I gotta tell you, man, I was there actually a couple months afterwards. I came there and I was like, dude, why would anybody ever be arrested for dancing here? Like, what the heck? It makes no sense, but we want to go break it down for us. Welcome to Truth Exposed Radio. Thanks for being here in studio in Chantilly, Virginia, man.
Thank you, guys. Well, Matt sent me the message that he was headed up, and I'm always up for a reunion with him, and it's great to meet all you guys for the first time. Finally to meet you, Cody, there.
Yeah, if I could just say, Eddie Free, you started, ladies and gentlemen, in the community, in the Truth and Liberty community. If you're listening on the AM/FM affiliates, share the link, truthexposedradio.com, and if you're listening on the internet, definitely share the link because truthexposedradio.com, because Eddie Free was an activist instrumental in getting the Thomas Jefferson dance party going on, because he saw how this law over here in Washington, D.C. Prohibited dancing around the monument dedicated to Thomas Jefferson, a Superman for liberty, Thomas Jefferson. This guy is like the icon. This guy is like, VH1 has like these segments about icons, and they show what's his name with the big from Public Enemy Flavor Flav. It's like the icons. Flavor Flav is like the icons they introduced to the public. Kim Kardashian, and here we have Thomas Jefferson, an icon for liberty and individual rights. Live free. And when we want to dance in front of the statue dedicated to him, we saw an incident recorded a few years back where that was prohibited. Police state action was a response to people dancing around this monument. And Eddie Free over here, who I known from Texas back in 2007, Matthew Medina here speaking on the mic. I first started We Are Change San Antonio in 2008. I got involved with the Ron Paul campaign in 2007. I've been woke to 9/11 since 2001, but I didn't get active till I met a fellow Ron Pauler at a comic book shop at the beginning of 2007, because he had his car tagged with Ron Paul stuff all over. And I walked in my comic book shop, I'm like, who is this guy out here with this Ron Paul car? Like Reddit style. I walked in there, I'm like raging, and he's like, me. And then I stay friends with him. He becomes a part of the Ron Paul meetup in San Antonio. And I missed when Ron Paul was in San Antonio back in 2007. Eddie Free here, our guest, was there from Houston, Texas. Later on, I met Eddie Free at a anti-Texas tollway, NAFTA superhighway protest in Austin.
That's where 2007. We really cut our
That's when I first met him.
That's where we really cut our teeth on activism, I think. Of course, we jumped on.
I was a newbie, and I met our guest here, Eddie Free, who's been an activist in Washington D.C. for a couple years now. But before that, you were in Texas.
That's right. It's great to be with you guys. Some Texans here for a change. I've been in the D.C. area for about 3 years now.
There you go.
But sure enough, we cut our teeth on the Trans-Texas corridor, the federal government, and I don't know if it was hatched out of the Bilderberg meetings, but they were going to confiscate a 1/4 mile wide freeway straight through Texas, and ultimately it was going to run all the way through the United States up to Canada. And I think that's
from Mexico to Canada.
That's right. And we went to several town hall meetings and spoke out against. They had to do it was some 1970 environmental law that they had to do a study and get feedback from the community. So we spoke out at those different meetings. So Yeah, man. We've been going at it for a little while, and and there's a tremendous amount of progress I see, especially even with you guys tonight. I was talking about each year, even the Bilderberg meetings are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now with across the planet this global awakening, this new realization of this idea of getting your liberties back. And we see it across the planet. There was a woman in Saudi Arabia that wore nail polish in the mall, and that was a huge step of civil disobedience and reaching back and reaching back for your liberties. So we see it all across the planet, and it's just growing and it's growing. Like this Bilderberg meeting. I mean, there's going to be how many people were there last time? I mean, it was a few hundred, right?
Yeah, a few hundred. Yeah, and then this time it's going to be a few thousand.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, during the most quiet times, there's going to be a few hundred. Like when everybody's going out to eat lunch, there's still going to be a few hundred people holding down. There's going to be tons of people. And, going back to the highways and all that stuff, that was actually going to be put up by Spanish companies, and they're going to collect all the tolls. And now you have Russian troops are going to come train here in America.
There you go.
It seems like they're bringing in all these foreign entities right now to kind of bring in the New World Order, and this is where you got to confront it. I mean, you can go occupy Wall Street or do whatever you want, but if you want to really get some change done, you got to occupy the real 1%.
Yeah. Well, it's like Aaron Dykes said in our show last week. People can find the YouTube video Aaron Dykes on Truth Exposed Radio, Occupy Bilderberg 2012. He said if you want to occupy or protest anything, the most bang for your buck is protesting Bilderberg.
He did say that. I remember that, and that's true. I mean, you got to cut the head off the snake. You don't want to chop at the tail. It's going to keep biting you, It's just going to get more pissed off. You got to cut the head off and kill it.
Yeah, totally. And Eddie, free. I mean, you were saying you've been an activist for a very long time. You were just talking about how it's been back at least 2007 or maybe even earlier.
Well,
what do you think the progress?
I would say that I woke up in 1996. I used to pick up... the first time I heard Alex Jones, I picked him up on pirate radio about 45 minutes northwest of Kerrville, Texas, out in the hill country. That was in 1998. That was the first time I heard Alex, in 1998. And even then, I think he was like touching on vaccines. Something grabbed my attention. And it was like 3:30 in the morning. I'm driving to my deer blind, and what the hell is this guy talking about? What? But then he went into the Constitution, the idea of the Republic and liberty, and I fell in love with it. And so Alex Jones was that splash of cold water in my face that woke me up to the conspiracy against our liberties.
And I think your journey is something we should really go into. We got a few more segments on this truthexposedradio.com. Exclusive, explosive, on location transmission in Chantilly, Virginia, all the way traveled from all the way in San Antonio, Texas. It's been a long road trip. People can follow our travels on Facebook on these various like pages, Occupy Bilderberg 2012, Truth Exposed Radio, and We Are Change SA. I want to flip the mic to Rob of Funkmaster 5,
and on those pages you can find updates that we've put up there cataloging our trip up here, 1,600 miles from San Antonio all the way to the heart of Virginia, right at a stone's throw from DC.
Woo!
And, they had the nerves to meet here, even though it's illegal for any American to attend. So,
federal official, the Logan Act is what they're violating.
Especially federal officials, like Matt says. So, there's a great deal of coverage that's going to come out of this because, there's a lot of people from nearby. We had our last guest from Connecticut, and a few of us from Texas and Canada. We have people from California, all over the place coming up here, and I think that there's a chance that we really pop that mainstream bubble. We're going to be looking to get some local coverage here. Cody actually had a really great idea of getting the local media involved and giving them the opportunity to come down here and cover it with us.
Yeah, totally, Sadie. I mean, do you think this is the year Bilderberg? I mean, you've been active for a very long time. You're saying 98, you started waking up. I mean, 2012. What does it look like to you?
The more they push, the more the resistance. You know, so inevitably, you know, we're seeing more and more cameras. We're seeing more and more of a police state. We're seeing the NDAA. We're seeing Gitmo. So naturally, the resistance is rising along with the tyranny. So I think it's only a natural process.
And hey, and I want to highlight, we haven't talked about yet, we got another segment with you coming up. This is Eddie Free, you know, the Thomas Jefferson Dance Party. Oh, this is the last segment we got with you, my bad. You did a lot of great actions before you left Texas. You know, you were confronting a lot of the fake Obama movement, and there's a lot of great videos you did. So I just want to let the audience know you've done a lot of great work, man, and you're over here still doing great work. It's great to have you on Truth Exposed Radio tonight, Eddie Free.
Thanks, man. I'm really here just to watch my friends' backs, because what we got to realize is that these people are evil, and if you want to really go into it, you know, the further that I've reached into the conspiracy is that it's very occultic.
Well, hey, my favorite video was where y'all were at some Sheila Jackson NWO congressional candidate rally, and y'all went in the bus of all her supporters, and y'all started rallying Acorn. Y'all walked in the Acorn school bus, and y'all started leading them in chants like y'all were one of them. Y'all totally played off like y'all were one of the Acorn, y'all were one of the Acorn Democratic activists, and you went in there and led them on a chant. It was so funny, and it just goes to show we can have fun waking up people. We're coming up on a break now. Eddie Free is our guest. Any links you want to shout out before we go out on this break?
FR33agents.com. Check it out. It's a network of activists, of global activists, and so check it out. FR31 agents or FR33agents.com. Thanks.
Absolutely, and guess what? We have a great globalist guest coming in. What?
Oh,
Here he is.
special
He's
guest.
walking in right now. Oh, here.
Hollywood actor.
Be right back. Be right back.